Hi y'all, it's Lexi. I'm back. It is Tuesday night going into Wednesday. And Tuesday is my 3 month mark on HRT, hormone replacement therapy. What? This hat is not a look I'm going for. I'm just cleaning the house. I thought the shirt I was wearing was a repeat, but it's not, apparently, according to my list. This is a cool bird, and it's Coachella volunteer. From 2010, although it was like a totally horrifying volunteer experience, but we don't need to get into that. It involves some biker gangs and not eating for 14 hours and not sleeping. It's a story for another time. So not much has changed physically with my transition since I last described it. Um, there's definitely like I'm noticed. I feel like I'm noticing the first changes behind the nipple, right? Like there's like I've always had like sort of some meat there. Certainly nothing feminine looking. Like it was always like masculine pec kind of looking, but it's it's definitely more fatty and meaty behind the nipple than before. Um, uh, I'm excited to see where that goes. Obviously, um, my girlfriend thinks that I am experiencing depression from time to time. I mean, and she blames it on the hormone regimen. So I don't really perceive it like that. I feel like I always sort of had patches of being ho hum, but she notices she notices a distinct difference. So I'm gonna see my doctor again at the 4 month mark rather than the 3 month mark because it was her idea to save me some money on labs and on doctor visits if I did it at the 4 month mark. So when I go in and see her, I'm gonna talk to her about. We're gonna get my labs done for the first time really, and then I know it probably is horrifying to some people, but it was okay for me to do it that way. Get my labs done, check out the levels, and then maybe talk to her about adjusting things. I thought a lot about drugs and alternate drug opportunities and progesterone, but it's too early for that, and yeah, there's no need to go there right now, but it's been on my mind anyway. Um, so depression. Last week was a tough one for me um, because I read there was some articles going around last week about people detransitioning, and the one in particular, the details were secondhand and kind of outlandish, and so I had all the reason in the world to not get caught up in it, but I really like messed with my head, and I was going from the high of um, just feeling so alive at rock camp, which I still need to describe, and I'm eager to, even though a lot of time is passing. Went from the high of that to, uh, you know, a sharp crash of second guessing myself and fear. And I've described to you many times. I kind of go through cycles of that, and it's just the experience of having gone through that keeps me together each time because it really feels alienating. It really feels like I've lost my purpose when that happens. I feel like I should journal my moods, and maybe there's a pattern. I don't know. But luckily there's checks and balances to my doubt. Like if I for some reason start doubting like feeling like a woman or my attachment to social roles or anything like that, I can rely on my hormonal stability, like how I feel more stable on with my new hormone balance, or I can rely on the fact that even if I feel out to sea with one of those issues, that I still feel very palpable body discomfort, and or I can lean on the fact that I still feel discomfort. You know, still feel a gloom envisioning my future in male positions and male roles. And then I can lean on how it's already benefited me. You know, how much it's reduced my stress, and how much happier, and how much freer, and how much more in touch, and how much more, I feel like I'm able to connect with people. And then, from from starting transition till now, I have like a history of feeling amazing in the most, in the circumstances, in the environments that are most encouraging to my situation. I feel great, like rock camp or the North Carolina festival. Like, I feel so great. So if any one of those things that is listed, I start to feel insecure about, I can think, I can remember, I can look at this list and I can think, oh yeah, of course. Well, all those other things are totally in play. So even though I've like feeling emotionally disconnected, I know that everything is still right and right on track. But it really hit detransition really strikes at my fears, at my deepest fears that like I haven't figured out myself, deeply enough, and I've settled with a lazy answer and an easy path. Like, I wish it were easy, but second session of laser, which I talked about before, I don't think it did anything. By this time out from my first session, a lot had fallen out, and I shaved yesterday, so it's hard to see, but I think it's 12 days after now. I don't think it did anything. They dialed it up even, and it hurt like holy hell, but I don't think it reduced anymore. I'm really kind of bummed about that, especially because when I went in, she said to me that from how effective it looked the first time, that she thought I wouldn't need all 6 sessions that I paid for. I might have mentioned that before. But so I was really encouraged, but I don't think anything's happened. I mean, I got to give it a few more days before I get upset about it. If anything, the patches, they still have the same kind of shape and definition of what's left, but I think maybe the patches might have thinned out a tiny bit. I'm really eager to get this fucking hair off of my face. And I'm going to Europe in a couple weeks, and I think as soon as I get back, even though my finances are, in trouble, I know those things sound conflicting. I'll describe the Europe trip another time. But as soon as I'm back, if I can, I want to get another group on and start zapping my chest, because it really made me, I think I described all this, really made me unexpectedly like thrilled and happy to shave. Oh, I didn't say this. To shave for rock camp, I shaved from here to here, and even though it was a little thing, I was so unexpectedly like super stoked about it. So I want to get on the rest of it. Let's see. My friend Christina, who helped me come out to myself at first, stayed with us all weekend, last weekend, and that was really wonderful and dominant in my mind, for a lot of reasons, some of which I won't describe here, but her presence really enriches me and my life and my experience. I'm sure there's more details that would be relevant. It's just not coming to mind. I'm a little caught up in the moment. I connected with my aunt today. Not any of the aunts that were causing me trouble before, but my dad's sister, who I hadn't told directly, but I had assumed at this point my dad had told, because my dad told my grandmother recently, and she's really supportive. I haven't talked to her directly. I'm going to. And then I assumed at that point Dad had mentioned something to my aunt, to his sister as well, and he had, and she was really super supportive. She's a therapist too, but which I think would incline her to be supportive. But she was really behind me, and she said she always wondered, why I had such puzzled and forlorn looks in my photos as a child, and well, now she knows. But it was really touching. Like, I've had some conflicts with her in the past, nothing serious, but um, it was really, it was really, it was really wonderful. I guess it's just the word to have that conversation with her and to words. Okay. Um, Yesterday I went to a potluck with my old roommates at their house that they're moving out of, and it was really really fun. And one of them was giving away clothes, and there's a bunch of little girls. There was like four, but one of them was a baby. There were three little girls there, the children of our people in our group. And I was like too busy, writing emails on my phone, and the girls had gone downstairs to start picking out clothes that my old roommate was giving away. And I wish I'd been paying attention. And she eventually invited me down. And when I got down there, I was like, oh, snap. And, the girls like had garments in their hands that I would have loved. But I got a couple really, really awesome things, and some jewelry, which is sweet. But like looking at the little girls, like, made me think of, you know, and, it just made me think how I wish I could have been them. I mean, how at that age I was more concerned with like go-karts and riding, you know, or like climbing trees or whatever. And I don't, I think it's a betrayal of my personality to think I would have wanted to do something other than drive go-karts and climb trees and run around forested areas and ride my bike and climb walls. I mean, I was rambunctious, I guess. But I think I would have liked to have done it in a punky skirt and or something. But anyway, um, it just made me kind of sad to see that thing. But it was fun to participate, and they couldn't comprehend why I possibly would have wanted the things that they were taking, and it was really cool. It's really cool. Speaking of go-karts, the reason why that came to mind is I've been going through stuff. I've been going through old college junk because I want to reduce my belongings. Um, and of course, like, I pack pretty well. I mean, I'm smart about keeping things, so I just like I just threw a bunch of crap around that I should just put back where I got it. But I found where is it? I found this ID when I was a little kid, which I always knew I kept, but you guys might think it's hilarious. That actually, if you saw any of these IDs, you would crack up. But it's one when I was like 7 at Malibu Grand Prix in the Valley in LA, wherever it is. Sorry this is taking so long. And here we go. Where is it? Oh, reverse. Okay. I was a bit of a punk in this picture, and that was me happy with myself, playing video games and driving go-karts. But that was a rare moment. I mean, I love that picture of myself because I was happy, and it wasn't always the case. So I'm going through all this crap, and it's I don't know. It's really sad. Um, it's remembering people and places where I was really, really frustrated with my life and couldn't understand why. And of course, as I mentioned, I brought up my gender situation in college, but for the most part, I was just suffering, against an invisible enemy. Um, I'm reading correspondence from people who loved me and people I loved, and an email of someone I cared about telling me that I didn't know myself, so that was kind of like A little hard to read in retrospect because she was right. I guess there's all. I've said everything I need to say. I'm sorry for rambling. You know I like to keep these things efficient. I've got a bad. I'm on a bad streak the last few. Uh, Alright, I got more to say, but I'm keeping it simple. 3 months on the juice. Super happy. Ups and downs. To be expected. Voice stuff kind of going well. I didn't really demonstrate, but. And then I'll talk about rock camp hopefully soon. Thanks a lot. Peace.